Semaj, you guys obviously played Creighton before in Omaha. So having played them one time, is it how helpful is it to have seen Doug McDermott in person and really get a feel for his game rather than just watching tape?
It's a big help. It's a big help playing them at the beginning of the season because we know how they play. I think a big thing the coaches talking to us about is in transition, don't run out into the paint. We got to kind of stop at like the three-point line because they like to shoot transition threes. So it was I think it was a good thing that we played them early in the season. It gave us a great look on them.
About that transition defense, it seemed like the last time, I think the issue was the bigs running down and then matching up after they were in the paint.
Yeah.
So kind of how do you guys fix that? Is it a communication thing or is it more of a, something, X's and O's thing?
It's both. I think mostly communication, though. I know our bigs used to running into the paint in transition to fine bigs. I know Creighton bigs, they not like normal bigs. They shoot the ball real well. So that's one big thing we've been working on that practicing. I know Matt and Isaiah and them guys, they get used to stopping at the three-point line, looking for the McDermott and the other shooters. So.
With a week left in the regular season, I know you guys have been taking things one game at a time and just go from one game to the next, but what does this next week, the next 3 games, what can they mean for you guys as a team?
It mean a lot. I mean, every game means something. So I think these last 3 games, we still got to go out fighting. We still got to play hard. Every game gonna count. So we don't want to just relax after a game. We win or lose. So every game counts.
Has that been maybe more so cognizant this year? You can't relax because whether it's just being in the Big East and having to go from that one game to the next, from a Georgetown to a Creighton to a Villanova.
Yeah, I feel like every game is, you can't relax. The Big East it's different. It's something different from the A-10. It's hard. It's hard every night you coming in and playing somebody good. You don't know what's gonna happen. You don't know how you're gonna play. So it's like every game it's a challenge. You just got to be ready to play.
So, Semaj, you get a sense of how big of a game this is for this team this year, a top 10 team coming here, sold-out crowd, standing room only tickets going on sale. Do you get a sense of just how big this is, that calendar's turning to March kind of thing?
Yeah, we was actually talking about it. A couple of us talking about it yesterday. The game going to be crazy. It's going to be a big game, a big game. We just got to be ready to play and don't be so shocked at everybody at the game. We just got to be focused, be keyed in, locked in, ready to play. I think everything will be fine after that.
Hard to do that. This place is going to be an atmosphere probably like you haven't seen so far this year.
I don't think it'll be hard. I think we'll be more excited than nervous. So I don't think it'll be hard, not at all. I think we'll be ready to play.
When the calendar does turn to March, and it does, ironically, tomorrow, with such a big game, as a college basketball player, do you start thinking bigger picture? Do you start thinking about the tournament? Do you start thinking about what this team wants to accomplish a little bit more?
Yeah. I feel like we always think about the tournament, but if we in March now, I think every game serious. Are you taking it more personal because you want to make it to the tournament? I know that was one of our goals, making it to the tournament. So I feel like every game now is win or nothing for real. So that's how I take it.
Important was what Jalen did the other night for this team. That could be a game changer for this team if he continues to produce like that the rest of the year.
Yeah, Jalen, I feel like that game boosted his confidence up. I feel like he learning. It'll take him a while, but he's still learning and still becoming a player he's gonna become. But I feel like he's gonna be great. He's gonna be a good player as Xavier. So he keep working and keep doing what he's doing. We'll be fine. Hopefully, keep doing it while we trying to make it to the tournament. So.
Semaj, one way that you guys were able to get a good jump on them in the first game was when they were really putting a lot of attention on Matt. He would pass it out to the perimeter, and Dee and Justin were able to hit threes. So against a team with very few weaknesses, how much could that really play a role the way that you guys strike the perimeter tomorrow?
That play a big role. We know that they like double teaming Matt when he catch the ball. So Coach Mack just told us we won't have to always settle for threes. We got to make them defend us. Throw it in there. When Mack kick it out, we can drive and play after that. We don't have to just settle.
What's been Coach's message getting ready for this game? I'm sure he'll drive it home again today, which is one day before the game. But is there anything he's been really telling you guys, really hitting home for you guys to make sure you do it well tomorrow to be successful?
Basically just play strong. We the bigger team, faster team. So he was just saying just be the bigger team out there tomorrow. And I know on the defense end we have to talk and locate the shooters, the big-time shooters on their team. So that was basically it, just being a bigger team and locating and talking, making sure our bigs don't run straight into the paint.
Chris, what makes Doug so special? But obviously, a lot of people have this potentially competitive year coming in. Obviously, he's a scorer, but what makes him so special and so difficult to defend?
I think it starts with his motor. To me, he's the most in-shape player in the country. He just never stops. I've never seen a player exert more energy on both ends of the floor, ever. I mean, he just, not just on the offensive end, on the defensive end, he's always bouncing. He needs to be slipped some ADD medicine. We already knew that.
One of the differences with them this time is that Grant Gibbs is back. He wasn't there for the first game. He seems to be primarily a distributor, but how much does he affect what they do or how you guys face them, I guess, challenges?
Yeah, I mean, he's probably the most experienced player in college basketball. He's got an incredible IQ. Creighton's a very intelligent team, a really smart team, but he personifies that. He's a terrific passer. He's got that connection with McDermott, but he finds the open man, and so he really moves the ball for Creighton really well, and he's shooting the ball extremely well from the three. I think that might be his MO is, he's not quite the shooter that some of those other guys are, but yet when he's left open, he knocks down threes. He just does what the game tells him. He's really good.
With a week left in the regular season, and you get the conference tournament, you've been talking all year about play the game, forget, play the game, forget, and go on to the next one. How tough of it is that to do in March as opposed to like February, January?
I don't think it's very tough at all because of who we're playing. If we were playing some cellar dwellers or teams that had won 3 games all year, you'd be really nervous as a coach for overlooking your opponent, having your team overlook your opponent. But you look on our schedule and you don't have to worry about that.
With Jalen and the upside for him athletically, I mean, you just look at this guy; he's just a beast. And the thing that seemed to be lacking all throughout the year was the confidence. It seemed like that breakout game for him. He could be definitely the X factor for you guys to go on in.
Yeah. No, he could. I mean, Jalen. We've as a coaching staff and his teammates would tell you the same thing. We've known Jalen's had this type of talent all year, and he hasn't been able early in the year to keep himself on the floor because of foul trouble, and there's been certain matchups where he just hasn't had enough game experience to do the right thing. But again, I'll keep saying it: the things that he has, you can't teach. You can't teach his length, his size, his athleticism, his physicality, his competitiveness. I mean, he is as competitive a player as I've ever coached. He wants to win, sometimes to a fault. He lets his emotions, carry out too much at times. But he's learning, and man, I'll tell you, when he really, becomes that experienced player where he's seeing all different types of situations in games, it's going to be downright scary.
How much will the atmosphere impact the way you guys play tomorrow?
I don't know how it'll impact us the way we play, but I know our guys will be excited to play. When you run out of that tunnel and they're going to be over, it's going to be more than a sellout. And that's one of the reasons you come to Xavier. We play games on the road where the arena's half full. And it might be an 18,000 seat arena, but there's still 8,000, 7,000 fans there, and that's not Xavier. And I think that's a huge selling point for guys that when they ultimately choose Xavier. And it gets any player going. I know our team feeds off of it.
Given the atmosphere, the opponent coming in, obviously
Really big. Really big. I mean, you don't have many opportunities to get a top 10 team on your floor. I think the last time Xavier played one was against St. Joe's when Thad was the coach. So that's a long time ago.
With guys like Rogge that are able to shoot from three, or actually he can pretty much shoot wherever he wants, you know, how much is transition defense and being able to communicate in that regard going to be important to tomorrow's game? We
have to do a better job than we did against in game one. You know, I'll say this, no matter who Creighton plays, a few of those shots that he made in Omaha, nobody in the country is defending. That's why they are who they are. You know, you're talking about 28-foot transition threes from their center. But there were some other instances where we didn't do a good enough job containing the basketball. We let it get all the way to the rim. And when that happens, you're in a situation, do I help on the penetration or do I stay with my man? So you're either giving up a layup or you're giving a wide open three. And that's where we have to get better.
It seems like, though, since that game, your identity has changed defensively as well, though.
At times. And I said this to a radio station in Omaha. They're the best offensive team I've ever scouted. As an assistant coach, as a head coach, they just are. They're.
Why is that?
Well, it starts with McDermott. He has teammates that don't resent him. He has teammates that have grown up with him, that know he wants to win, that look for him. And he's also surrounded by maybe the most dangerous role player I've ever seen in college basketball. You know, because his role is to just shoot threes. You know, he does a great job on defense. He post traps, but you know they don't ask him to pull down 10 rebounds. They don't ask him to take anybody off the dribble, draw fouls. None of that. Your role is when you're open, you know, shoot the ball, and when you're not open, shoot the ball. Those two guys just make it extraordinarily difficult because they play the front court positions. And your guards are used to chasing guys off screens and around the three-point line, but your bigs aren't necessarily used to that. So that's the pickle they put you in. And you know, we weren't that far off in Omaha, but that game doesn't mean anything. It's tomorrow's game that matters, and we're going to have to do a better job than we did in game one.
Their defense is pretty good, too.
Yeah.
Second in the conference. What do they do on that end of the court that's so good?
They put all 5 guys in the lane. They dare you to shoot the ball. They don't give up second shots, and they play very physical inside the lane.
You know, as soon as the last game ended, Matt was saying he couldn't wait to have them come here and play on this court. So kind of playing off some of the earlier questions, you know, are the guys, do you see an extra excitement and anticipation for this particular game?
Well, there's no type of revenge. We had our shot at Omaha. We didn't get it done. You know, I think as a player, anytime you know you have the challenge that Creighton presents, the fact that they are ranked where they're at and deservingly so, it's exciting for your team. It's a huge opportunity, but it's one that demands us to be on our toes.